So, in order to understand the concept of power sharing, let us try to understand with two examples. Actually, as soon as the word power sharing is read out, you generally get a doubt in your minds that sharing means dividing. This is a common scenario. We get the doubt like sharing means dividing the power. Here actually we are not dividing the power, we are understanding the influence of the people on the say or the actions of the government. Now let us discuss about Belgium. Belgium as you all know, Belgium is located in European continent. So in which continent we have Belgium? In Europe. Towards which part of Europe do we have the location of Belgium? Belgium is located towards the western part of Europe, where it is having the boundaries with France on the southwestern side. As it moves on towards that, we have Netherlands, and we also have Luxembourg, and also we have the Atlantic Ocean on the boundaries. So now let us try to understand actually what is the actual problem or the actual extent of Belgium. In order to understand what actually is happening in Belgium, we need to understand the exact location of Belgium. When Belgium is located on the western part of Europe, very close to France, and then we can understand it in such a way like Belgium is a very small country in Europe, maybe equal to the size of Haryana, which is a state in India, a very small region, and the population may be nearly more than 1 crore or nearby to 1 crore, that is nearly 10 million. And if we take the Haryana population, maybe a little bit more than Haryana's population. So here the actual thing is we have two different groups of people living here, or two different communities of people living here. So how is the power sharing happening? What happened actually there? What is the main problem for the Belgium people? We shall know what is the problem actually first, then we shall try to find out what happened as a solution for this one. So as we all know that Belgium is surrounded by Germany, France, the Netherlands. Obviously we have the people or the population of Belgium having an influence of the French speaking people here, the German speaking people here, and the mother tongue of the Belgium or the whole official language of Belgium, that is the Dutch people are also influenced because the Netherlands have influence there. So now because of this complex population which is in Belgium, it gave rise to a typical problem in the capital city. Let us try to understand it in detail. Now if we divide the entire complex population, which is a mixed diversified population of French people, French language spoken people, then German language spoken people, and the Dutch language spoken people. So when all these three different category language spoken people are living together in a nation, and they need to form a government or they need to prove the majority, like for example let us take India. In India we have majority of them follow the religion of Hinduism. In Pakistan they follow the religion of Islam, or the dominant language in India was Hindi. In the same way in Pakistan they follow the Urdu. So in this way we can't determine what is the exact or the official language of this Belgium, or who are the majority population of people. So let us try to find out a solution for this. Let us see here. The entire 59% of people live near the Flemish region and they speak the Dutch language. So the 59% means it's nearly 60%, 2/3 of the population in Belgium read or talk the language called Dutch language, which means 60% of the entire population is influenced by the Netherlands, and they have the language spoken is Dutch. They follow the culture, everything in respective to the Netherlands. And then in the same way, when we talk about the rest of the people, nearly 40% of people live in the region called Wallonia, where we have the people speaking the language called French language. So here we find the influence of France here. So 2/3 of the population in the nation are speaking Dutch language, or two parts. If you divide it the entire into like 40% of the people are speaking French language. Now moving on to the other 1% which are left out, they speak the 1% Bulgarians speak the German language. So it is very clearly evident for us that the surrounding regions of Belgium, the nations like Germany, Netherlands and France are influencing the people of Belgium. It has happened for certain centuries. That is the reason why we have the mixed complex population existing in Belgium, which gave rise to this kind of population of people living there. Now from this, it is very clear for us that the majority of the people's spoken language in Belgium is Dutch. The next second most spoken language in Belgium is French. Now the rest of the Germans are not so influential, we can get them because they are in very less number, or let's call them as minority population people. Now the capital of Belgium is Brussels. In Brussels, if we divide the entire Brussels population into percentage ratio and find out how much percentage of people actually speak the French language and the Dutch language, as per the entire country's calculations, we have understood that nearly 60%, which is 2/3 of the majority of the people, speak Dutch language in the entire nation. But in the capital city, we have only 20% of the people speaking the Dutch language, while the rest of the people, 80%, speak the French language. Now the situation is completely different from the entire nation to the particular capital city. When we covered the entire nation, we came to know that in entire nation we have the Dutch spoken people are in majority, while the French spoken people are in minority. But in the actual capital city of Belgium, that is Brussels, we have 80% of people speaking in French and only 20% of people speaking in Dutch language. So this is a situation which is happening in giving rise to a spectacular or a new kind of problem, because the French people are exposed to various kinds of educations or modern means of educations. They are well established, rich and the prosperous community in the capital city as well as in the nation, while the Dutch people are not exposed. They got the exposure of development or the economic development which in the later part of the 19th century. So when compared to the French spoken people, the French community people, the Dutch spoken community people are less advanced. Yes, they may be in majority in the nation, but the influential people in Belgium are the French spoken people. Now in the capital city, we have the majority of people are French spoken people, the minority comes under Dutch spoken people, but in the entire nation group we have 60%, which means 2/3 of the population are Dutch spoken people and only two parts, that is 40%, are the French spoken people. If the government frames any laws according to the influence in the city of the capital city, that is Brussels, and concludes like influence of French people is more on the government, officially they are rich people, they are well educated, well advanced, economically well settled people, so they were able to influence the government to make policies in the favor of the French community people, whereas in the actual reality the French spoken people are in the entire nationwide are only two parts, whereas 2/3 parts are covered by the Dutch spoken people. So the Dutch spoken people are maybe in minority in the capital city, but in the actual entire nation the majority of the population is Dutch spoken people. This gave rise to a new problem during the 1950s and 60s. So during 1950s and 1960s, we have a different problem popping up in Belgium capital Brussels. If you stick to the capital's consensus or the statistics, they can't do the justice to the entire nation. If you stick to the nation, then they can't do justice to the most influential people in the society, though they may be minority in the nation, but they are very powerful in the capital city. So what to do? This is a really spectacular and a rare problem, generally which we never come across. So what happened next? Before finding the solution for this one, let us also find out what happened in a very same situation at a different place which is very close to India in the same Asian continent. Let us find out what happened in Sri Lanka.
If you like this video, please give a thumbs up. Please subscribe to our channel to get more videos on CBSE syllabus.